going to represent my final presentation about my project. My project is Dosimetric impact to the multi-leaf collimator sag during the treatments with small fields. And my supervisor is Dr. Pejman Rowshanfarzad and Broderick and McCallum-Hee from Socialist County Hospital. So this page is my presentation overview, which I'm going to show in my slides. And there are four areas we need to consider. The first is GTV, which is gross tumor volume, and that is the tumor located in the patient area. And additional margin we have to consider because there are going to be a subclinical potential tumor cells. So there are going to be a CTV, clinical target volume. And beside that, we still have to consider about the patient organ movement and mechanical uncertainties during the treatment. So finally, we still have the PTV, planning target volume, to consider. And even beside that, there's still a region we have to consider is the organ near the tumors. So that is organ at risk. And because of the normal organ near the tumor, so by using the treatment planning system, we are altered PTV area, and that is conformal treatment technology. So let's consider about the development of the conformal treatment technology. Start, we got a 3D CRT, which has a three-dimensional imaging with limited adaptability. And then we got static MRT with intensity modulation, adaptive radiation. And then we got dynamic MRT with dynamic MRC movement during the treatment with high adaptability. And finally, we got VMAT with single beam rotation with efficient precision, and SBRT with high dose localization treatment. I'm sorry, a minute. Yeah, and by considering the development of conformal treatment, we found a change from the big field in the PTV area to the small field. And normally we consider the small field is under the 3 centimeters multiplied centimeters area. So there are so many factors affecting the PTV margin, which includes the uncertainty of patient's positioning, dosimetric uncertainties, such as penetration of the beam, and of course, the use of motion management technologies, such as gating, image transfer errors from CT and simulator to the treatment unit. And of course, the human factors is also a big problem. And the most important part is mechanical uncertainty of the equipment. So there was a study about Benjamin et al. They evaluated the MRT and VMAT dose accuracy. During volumetric measurement guide dose restriction, this showed a 4% reduction in the target dose and noticeable deviation error. And that because of the incorrect TPS settings for leaf engine modeling, and which means the MLC offside table in the TPS set incorrectly. And that indicates the MLC sag will influence the dose delivery, of course. And also another study about the Printo et al. They studied the inaccuracies in the positioning of MLC leaves affect the quality of VMAT and SRS treatment plans. They found the systematic leaf offset about 0.09 millimeter at the isocenter plane, which 0.03 millimeter at the MLC plane are acceptable even for the complex case in nearby organ at risk. But leaf offset as small as 0.91 millimeter in 0.06 millimeter at the MLC plane, which equivalent to the 0.38 millimeter field size discrepancy, can lead to the clinically unacceptable planes, which indicates the influence on target dosimetry is closely linked to the lesion size. And when we talk about the multi-leaf collimator quality assurance, the American Association of Physicists in Medicine, they give the TG142 paper show that the MLC with tolerance should be 1 millimeter. And also from the Hernandez et al. In their study, inside it said that in sliding window treatment, the tolerance of MLC is 2 millimeters and it's adequate and can be reduced to 1.5 millimeters. Well, in the VMAT plans, they recommended a tolerance about the 2.5 millimeters. But however, in the varying Linux, carriage box contains the MLC leaves and the controller system is more than 36 kilograms in each side, including the left side and right side. And elected Linux with number of 80 leaves will cause a 70 kilogram impulse to gantry height. Well, the Sims Linux leaf assembles weight around 350 kilograms, but this MLC controller system is unable to recognize the sag in the MLC leaf band carriage due to the gravity cost. So the UWA medical teams, Rowshanfarzad, do the very brilliant work, investigate 3 different companies. LINAC, they get essential data on isocenter inaccuracy and MLC sag dataset. So according to this dataset, there are so many brilliant work as is already done. So the main aim to measure the mechanical sag influence due to the MLC and the gantry sag for VMAT. He developed a IMRT files beam splitting algorithm and providing the evidence support to the tolerance level at 1 millimeter isocenter shift for VMAT. Also, the Broderick investigated the dosimetric impact of mechanical inaccuracy during the linear gantry movement for VMAT plines. He created a VMAT beam splitting algorithm using clinical validated beam simulation software to simulate the dose distribution and extract 6-plane evaluation matrix, and also observe the significant plane deterioration for small PTVs as commonly recommended in the literature with 1 millimeter mechanical isocenter tolerance level. And on the conclusion, under the PTV size below 10 cubic kilometers, a recommended alternative tolerance with level of 0.5 millimeter via action level of 0.75 millimeters. And the aim of this study is to investigate the dosimetric impact of MLC sag-induced isocenter inaccuracy in small field MRT treatment. And below that, we will evaluate the dosimetric consequence of varying levels of MLC sag magnification in comparison to the original treatment plan. And also, I will compare the difference between the large field MRT plans and small field MRT plans, both affected by the MLC sags. The significance of this project is we provide a broader perspective on mechanical uncertainties of MLC, and we also provide more data on MLC QA practice. And the third part is by using the MatRad software, the research approach becomes more flexible and customizable. So to start, before I start with my project methodology, I will introduce the treatment planning system in this project. The treatment planning system is the heart of radiation therapy and the key to improve the patient outcomes. So, however, the commercial software is generally closed source due to the high safety requirements in application. So, in this project, we will use MatRad. And MatRad is MatRad-based open source software, and it can customize and adapt the MatRad to specific research and clinical needs. And it also supports various treatment planning techniques and enable prices, dose calculations, and simulations. And it will explore novel approaches and methods in radiation therapy research and practice. The methodology about this project is first, we will collect the MLC sag data. So I will utilize the varying MLC sag data quantified by the Rowshanfarzad et al. The data is collected at interval of 10 degrees, and the sag of the MLC is caused by the combined action both left and right lead pairs as shown in the below the figure. And the second part is the MLC position modification. We will import and modify the diagram plans in the MATLAB. For the beam angles not recorded in the data, estimation is carried out based on the data curve. Here, we create a MATLAB script to modify the coordinates of MLC sequence in all MRT plans to incorporate the sag and their magnification factors. Also in this MATLAB script, we will create multiple plans affected by the varying degrees of MLC sag. The third part is plan verification. In this part, I import the modified plans into MatRad software, and it will generate the file format used by the MatRad, and it also performs the preliminary validation of those calculations to determine the quantities of research plans. And based that, as you can see under the below, we choose 2 different plans with large field breast plans and the small field hip plans. And the fourth step is dose calculations. The dose calculation is done by the customized MatRad script instead of the MatRad GUI itself, because the standard workflow requires optimize the plan before conducting those statistics and creating deviation for the plan results, which will challenging the accuracy access to the dose distribution changes resulting from the MLC Sag. And the statistical analysis of various dose matrix from plan simulation results is conducted using the MatRad toolbox contains the functions. So to evaluate the outcomes, we will evaluate the plans based on 5 different clinically relevant metrics, which is PTV coverage difference, D2% and D98% difference, and the trend in individual compression changes, OAR dose difference, and absolute difference of the dose distribution. So by considering the recommended tolerance of MLC with 1 mm in TG142 and the previous study report with 2.5 mm in VMAT, this study, there are going to be 17 plans will be calculated, including the 2 original plans with different PTV area and 15 changed plans with different magnification MLC Sag. And as you can see on the right table, in the breast plan, the biggest MLC Sag will going to be 2.7 mm in 10 times magnification, and the hip plan will going to be 1.5 millimeters in 5 times MLC Sag. So for the result, first for the P3 coverage difference, in these 2 figures, I calculate both the main dose, max dose, and the D2 and D98 dose percent together. And the changes in various dose parameters in the PTVs are relatively insensitive to the MLC Sag. All of the outcome is not exceed 1% in both of increase or decrease trend compared with original plan, but more constant increase pattern in the small field hip MRT plan and the large volume breast plan like this similarity of trends in PTV comparison, as you can see in these 2 figures. And so it's turned to the deviation comparison. First, we compare the original breast plan with 1 and 5 and 10 times MLC Sag magnification plans respectively, as shown under the below. And as the Sag factor increase, the changes in PTV and CTV are not significant, but the volume percentage of some certain OARs are remarkably increased. And turn to the hip plan. The comparison of the original hip plan with 1 and 3 and 5 times MLC Sag magnification plans, it shows the disparity between the PTV and GTV is evident in 1-fold MLC Sag comparison, but diminishes progressively with higher Sag factors, as you can see under below, and the variation in OARs remains insignificant as MLC Sag increase. So as we can see, the OAR's dose has changed in the breast plan. So this time we will do the OAR's dose difference comparison. As the MLC Sag factor increase into more than 3 times in breast plans, which is the big field plans, the most OARs show a noticeable upward trend. In the 10-fold MLC Sag plans, the most significant change is the right side of long OAR main dose increase about 10%, and max dose and its max dose increase about 3%. The contra breast OAR region, the main dose increase about 8% and max dose increase about 3.5%. But also there's also a very significant decrease, as shown in the area, also occurred. And also, as you can see, I will directly show you the table about this with the increased. As you can see from the MLC Sag increase from 2 times into 3 times, as you can see in the right side along and the contra breast. This part I will mark in red. As you can see in the 2 times of the MLC Sag, the increase of the change is only 0.7%. But suddenly, when the MLC Sag increased to 3%, the increased percentage is from 0.7% into directly to 4.3% and 5.7%. And even for the heart, it decreased from 0.6% and sudden increase into 1.6%. is very obvious change. Well, however, in the context of small field heat plants as MLC sag increase, the maximum increment in mean dose for the OERs does not exist to 0.5%, and the increase of max dose is only approximately 0.1%. And because of that, we will turn to absolute difference of dose distribution. In the dose difference primarily appears around the PTV and increase around the direction of the beam path in the breast plan, as you can see from the one-fold magnification of the sag to 5 and 10. As you can see, the dose difference appears according to the beam path, and that is called the leakage phenomenon. The dose difference threshold in the breast plan is proportional to the magnificence of MLC sag. As you can see from the very beginning of one-fold magnification MLC sag, the biggest dose difference is only to 0.025 gray, and finally to 10 times, the dose difference is reached to 0.25%. It's also the 10 times larger. However, in the heat plants with smaller beam apertures, the dose variation primarily occur around the PTV and the single OER region, as you can see, and no observed trend of dose difference increased with the larger MLC sag in this case. As you can see, the scale of the threshold dose difference is kept the same as with the MLC sag increased. So the phenomenon is likely influenced by the several factors, with smaller beam aperture size and specific beam directions, avoid interactions with artificial metal implants and surrounding normal tissues. So the conclusion of my research is the impact of the MLC sag on PTV dose parameters is relatively little bit greater in small field plants than in the large field plants. However, in the small field plants, impact of PTV dose volume is limited through the control of the beam irradiation directions. And as MLC sag factors increase more than 1 millimeter, large field plants exhibit a notable increase in OER dose, primarily associated with beam setup. The dose variation are influenced by the field size and irradiation directions, resulting in a leakage phenomenon. So the subsequent studies can be explored combined mechanical error effects under diverse conditions and a method to enhance precision and safety in radiation therapy. So the limitation of this project is the study focused on the MLC sag data in the right and left movement directions, because due to the limitations in DICOM files control point sequence. Well, the MLC sag data was recorded in four different directions in previous research. Sag orienting from gun and target directions also affect MLC motion. And in clinical practice, mechanical error likely results from combination of several factors, making the leakage phenomenon maybe more complex. So it's requiring further research for the comprehensive understanding of the impact of mechanical errors in radiation therapy. And well, grateful to my supervisor Pejman to provide the data support and the project direction guidance, and also appreciate my supervisor Broderick for providing the detailed strategy to solve my programming challenges. And finally, to all the other students and members of UW Medical Physics for making a good work environment. And that is the reference I use in these slides. And thank you for your listening. Yeah, is there any questions?
ZHAO. Thank you for that presentation. That was really good. Does anyone have any questions for ZHAO? Martin.
Thanks, ZHAO. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
See, you were looking at the MLC sag in isolation, weren't you? You weren't looking at the gantry sag as well. Like you mentioned at the end there, that a next step would be to combine the different mechanical errors. But you must have some idea, I guess, of how what you found compares with the effect of the gantry sag. particularly if you've looked at Broderick's publication. Do you know how they compare?
Yeah, it's actually I think Melia has done the very similar study, because they study about the MLC sag and gantry sag on the VMAT. So I think there's something we can learn from his paper. Yeah, I think.
But the impact of the mechanical sag, is it much smaller due to the MLC sag, or is it similar?
Yes.
Yes, it's smaller.
It's just because MLC sag is very small, limited, because the biggest MLC sag for because here, as you can see, the variant MLC sag curve is showing in the picture. So as you can see, the biggest gap between the left and right sag is only 0.3 millimeters, and when we consider one side is only not larger than 0.15 millimeters. So it's definitely very small. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Luke?
Yeah, I've got one question. You mentioned the different parameters that you looked at to just look at how good the plan is, but did you look at things such as conformity index or homogeneity index or something like that, especially for the small field treatments?
Okay, I should consider about the conformity index, and basically all the statistic conclusion is made by the MatRad, because MatRad have the functions to give you such things, but it didn't show you the specific way we want it. The most situations the MatRad gave the, for example, conformity index, it gave the number is not what we want. So yeah, so I didn't use it. Yeah, but actually I can, but it's not the way we want.
Okay, thank you.
ZHAO, are there any ways you can think to improve upon this work in the future? Like if you were to continue this study, what do you think you would do next?
Yes, actually, I have many thought about this project, how to improve this more perfectly, because actually I can use more plans, and I will slightly explain why there's only 2 different plans, and what the reason I didn't use. Because I supposed to use, also I use 10 times MLC sag in the hip, but the reason I didn't use is just because the MatRad software have some problems, because when I try to give from the 6 to times about MLC sag to hip, the MatRad software always report some errors, and maybe I should to figure that out, and maybe I can use more plans to communicate, to compare with each other, because for example, I can use 3 or 4 more small field plans instead of only 1 small field and big field with breast plan. We can compare with both small fields in different body parts. Yeah, I think there are so many aspects I can use to improve this investigate. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Siva, you have a question? I think you're muted if you're talking.
0 to MLC sag magnification, 0 to 10.
Yeah.
So,
zero sag magnification represents the original plan, and the change plan is from 1 time MLC sag to 10 times the MLC sag. Yeah.
So the same plan, if it is, sorry, you said there was some sort of bug or something is there with this software.
Yes.
Yeah. So the same plan, if it is run, sorry, may not be the same plan. So you identified for the brush plan, 10 different plans. Is the values varying between 0.27 to 2.7?
Yeah, it's just because from the times it's directly from the one times larger to 10 times larger, and here I just represent the most biggest sag during this plan, and because each plan have different gantry angle, and from the different gantry angle we're gonna have the different MLC sag. So actually there are gonna be 4 or 5 different MLC sag, and here I just represent the biggest one.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Great. I think if there's no more questions, we'll leave it there. So again, ZHAO, thanks for that great presentation.
Thank you.
If you don't mind stopping your share.